Yo, what is going on, NFL fans? Can you believe it? We are less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. So if you're wondering who your team is going to pick, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing an absolute buttload of draft content for you guys each and every day leading up into the draft. Today's episode, we're going to break down my favorite division in the NFL, and that is the NFC East. We're going to do a mock draft, 4 rounds for each team in the NFC East. Let's get into it. We're going to kick things off with the Commanders, who are picking number 2 in this year's draft. In my opinion, there's absolutely zero chance the Commanders trade this pick. And I think they're going to bring in who I think fits the best with their organization moving forward, with Dan Quinn, the new head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury running the offense, the new offensive coordinator. I love Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders. The more I watch Drake May, the less I like him. He's regressed pretty considerably considering how good he was last year for North Carolina. He's still a really young quarterback, and he might prove me wrong, but right now I just like Jaden Daniels' game a little bit more than Drake May's. I watched Drake May's pro day. I was not super impressed. The Washington Commanders have a ton of early picks. The first one is going to be Jaden Daniels, the quarterback from LSU. The Giants are on the clock at 6. There is a chance that the Giants move up to number 3 possibly and pick a quarterback. I could see the Giants dealing Daniel Jones and some picks to move up to number 3 to draft a guy like Drake May. That is definitely a possibility. But I don't know if the value is going to be worth it because the Patriots are going to want a buttload of picks, and I don't know. For me, it's not quite worth it. And the way the board fell to the Giants, Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping to you at number 6 is almost too good to be true. But I agree with this board. I like Malik Neighbors more than I like Marvin Harrison Jr. You're talking about between a 98 and a 97 Madden grade. I just think Malik Neighbors is the 98. Marvin Harrison is the 97. The Giants get a super talented player at number 6, stand pat at 6, and pick Marvin Harrison Jr. The Birds are up at pick number 22, and this is a nightmare scenario for Eagles fans. The way the draft board fell, you could go with Mims, who I actually like a lot better than most people. There's Kool-Aid McKinstry still left. And to me, a guy I like even more is TJ Tampa out of Iowa State. He's so big. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's just an impressive guy all the way around. Mel Kiper Jr. has him ranked 25th on his big board. Not quite as high on the PFF board, but look at all these pros. Impressive foot speed, long arms, super physical, can get off blocks. Confident player. He can move down to the slot. I think he could play either safety position and cornerback at the NFL level. They like this guy, Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Him and Lane Johnson have a connection. He's super raw. 6'7", 327. He's a rare type of athlete, but he's got a lot to work on, man. A lot to work on. To me, picking him in the first round is an overextension. So to me, it's between Mims and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Mims is very solid. 81 pass block grade, 6'7", 340. He only played 7 games this year, played a full set last year at 14 and only 9 in 2021. He needs some work too. But the more I think about it, the more I believe that Howie Roseman is going to switch stuff up and draft a cornerback. I think the way this board played out, you got to go between Kool-Aid and TJ Tampa. I like Kool-Aid McKinstry probably a little bit more than TJ Tampa. He's been doing it for 2 years now. Super solid. I mean, they didn't target him at all this year. It's crazy. He only got targeted 39 times. That doesn't even make any sense. So that means teams are trying to avoid Kool-Aid McKinstry. He just ran like a 4.46 with a broken toe. And if college teams are avoiding this guy, maybe he's a lot better than people think. I like Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Birds at 22. The Cowboys are on the clock next at 24. Luckily for them, the Vikings and the Eagles did not take Amarius Mims. I think Mims just makes way too much sense. He could be a potential left tackle to replace Tyron Smith. He could probably play right tackle too. He could play either guard position. The Cowboys need help with their offensive line. It's no secret. Amarius Mims is going to the Cowboys. The Washington Commanders have the next 2 picks for NFC East teams, one at 36, one at 40. I love the way this board fell to them. And like I was talking about earlier, I absolutely love TJ Tampa. They need help at cornerback, in my opinion. I like TJ Tampa to the Washington Commanders at pick 36. Everyone knows that the Commanders traded their entire defensive line pretty much. Montez Sweat and Chase Young got traded. So let's bring in another young edge guy who can get after the quarterback. Chris Braswell from Alabama, 13 sacks last year, 87.9 pass rush grade, pass rush win rate over 18%. I love that. The guy's a beast, man. I love his size too, 6'3", 255. He could put on maybe 5 or 10 more pounds to be an absolute machine. Super explosive. Very, very, very strong. Super fast hands. But in my opinion, they need help at edge. Chris Braswell's going to the Commanders. The Giants are now on the clock at pick 47. When breaking down the Giants roster, their cornerback situation is horrible. They don't have one cornerback on their roster that breaks in the top 100 ranked guys on PFF. They need cornerbacks probably more than any position on the team. And with Kamari Lassiter still available this late in the draft, 85 overall grade last year, gave up no touchdowns. He only gave up 136 yards. That's crazy, man. Passer rating against 48.7. This dude is an absolute stud at the cornerback position, man. 6 foot 180. He could add a little size, but he's a very good player, man. He's got pretty decent footwork, good control, good hand placement, punches out the ball, hand fights and routes. He's smart and sound defender. He's pretty much as good as it gets in this draft at the cornerback position, and the Giants will be super elated if he falls to them at this point in the draft. Kamari Lassiter is going to the Giants. All right, everybody, the Eagles are on the clock at pick 50 and pick 53. The board felt okay to them here. There's some edge guys that I really like, and a linebacker I love, and Edger and Cooper, but I don't know if Idisa Isaac is going to be there if we pick at 53. So Idisa Isaac is super, super good. So his production is not as good as the potential of a player he can be. 9 sacks this year, 20 QB hurries, and 200 pass rush snaps. So that's about 10%, which is a pretty solid number. He's good against the run, needs a little help against the pass, but I like his size, 6'4", 254. He's got fast, violent hands, consistent player. He's very creative getting off blocks, which is really going to help him, I think, at the next level. Strong when taking on split zone blockers coming across the line. He's a very smart, cerebral guy coming off the edge. And with Reddick going to the Jets, let's add a little more depth to this room. Idisa Isaac is a Philadelphia Eagle. And luckily for the Birds, our guy, Edger and Cooper, is still available. He probably would be available a little bit later in the second round, early third round. But by the time the Eagles pick again at pick 120 in the fourth round, Edger and Cooper will not be there. So we're really addressing the defense that struggled mightily last year. We went cornerback with the first pick, edge with the second pick, and the second pick in the second round, Edger and Cooper, the linebacker, one of the best linebackers in this class. He could rush the passer, even better against the run. Really good 85 grade in coverage, 90.8 grade this year. Edger and Cooper is joining the Bird Gang. We're at pick 24 in the second round. Cowboys are on the clock. Let's give Dak Prescott some more weapons, guys. Brandon Cooks is getting older. CeeDee Lamb can't do everything all by himself. We got our tackle in round 1. Let's go after one of these big-time wide receivers. Let's see who's left. Keon Coleman. I like Xavier Legette. Jalen Polk. Devontae Walker from North Carolina is an underrated guy. But I'm debating between Keon Coleman and Xavier Legette. And to me, Xavier Legette might be the next DK Metcalf. Big time size. 6'3", 227 pounds. A bit of a late bloomer. He's 23. He'll be around 24 by the time the season starts. So he's a little older than most guys coming out of college. And he doesn't have a ton of college experience being super productive. 56 grade in 22, 58 grade in 2021. But this is the type of guy you take as a flyer late in the second round and has the potential, like DK Metcalf, to be an absolute superstar. People were worried about some injuries with DK Metcalf and would he be able to fit into an NFL scheme at his size? And the answer is absolutely yes. And if you look, in some games, Xavier Legette just took over the games, man. And that's what you want in a big-time wide receiver. I love his size. To pair him with CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Legette is going to the Cowboys. We're entering the third round of this NFC East only mock draft. The Eagles do not have a pick in the third round. The Commanders are on the clock. When you draft a franchise quarterback, you need to protect him. And I want to go with the best tackle left on the board, and that's Blake Fisher. He's not a superstar, but he's a pretty decent tackle. He'll probably play right tackle in the NFL. Fisher is a 2-year starter at right tackle. He wins with power as both a run blocker and pass blocker. He can do everything pretty good. And the thing is, he just turned 21. So you have a lot of time to groom this guy and make him a better player. And he can even slide into guard if you need to. He's just great depth for the offensive line that needs to protect Jaden Daniels. Blake Fisher, the tackle from Notre Dame, is going to the Commanders. The Giants are up, pick number 70, round 3. When looking at the way the board has fell to the Giants at pick 70, I really like Devondre Sweat, the interior defensive lineman. I can't believe he's kind of fell this far. He had a 91 grade last year, which is absolutely incredible. Run defense grade 92, run stop rate almost 13%. I mean, these numbers are all elite. The fact that he fell surprises me. He's 6'4", 362 pounds. He's just got incredible size. He's really good against the pass. He's good against the rush. I mean, how could you not love this guy? The Giants need some depth at interior defensive line. Devondre Sweat is the man to plug up those gaps on the D-line for the Giants. Pick 78, the Commanders are on the clock. I want to give some more explosiveness to this offense. And that's why I love Bucky Irving. He's really great at catching the ball out of the backfield. 55 catches last year. He added 186 rushing attempts, almost 1,200 yards, average over 6.4 yards per carry. He's got decent size, 5'10", 195. Let's give a pass catcher out of the backfield who can also run between the tackles. I love Bucky Irving to the Commanders' offense. Cowboys are on the clock, pick 87 at the end of the third round. And as an Eagles fan, this breaks my heart, but Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to the Cowboys. Over 85 grades the past 2 years. He's good everywhere. He can rush the passer, he can stop the run, he can drop back in coverage. His missed tackle rate is a little concerning, but this late in the third round, I don't think you can pass up a talent like this. 6 foot, 230, high football IQ guy. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a Dallas Cowboy. With the Commanders on the clock, I need to protect their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. They cannot get enough offensive line help in this draft. They could go tight end here. They absolutely could do that. But I like Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. Look at this. He's played almost 3,000 snaps in his career, guys. Only 2 sacks in almost 3,000 snaps. Great against the run. Very good in zone grade, pass block grade. He's just an all-around, very talented player. He gave up no sacks this year, only 3 hurries on 832 snaps. This dude is great. Great size, too. 6'5", 315. He's going to the Commanders to help protect Jaden Daniels. The Giants are on the clock in the fourth round. Pick number 7. At this point, the Giants just need the best player available. For me, the weakest position on this Giants team is the cornerback position. And I am honestly going to be drafting 2 cornerbacks in the first 4 rounds for the Giants. That's how unbelievably terrible they are. And in today's NFL, there's a lot of looks where you need 3 corners, 4 corners on the field at a time. And this dude, Chris Abrams-Drain from Missouri, is a very underrated player in this draft. Over 280 grades in the past 3 years. Very, very good player. This is a later round pick, so this guy's not a superstar. But he's really good at man-to-man. He's not great against the run. A lot of corners aren't. But his coverage grade is almost a 90, guys. He's 5'11", 178. He's one of the smaller corners. He's more of a slot corner probably. But I like Chris Abrams-Drain to the Giants. All right, NFC East fans, we're going to wrap it up. This is the last pick for the NFC East in the first 4 rounds of the draft. The Philadelphia Eagles picking at pick 120. I want to add some offensive line help to this group. Jason Kelce is retired. Sua Puerta moved on to another team. They need some help at offensive line to give this room a little more depth. And Cooper Beebe falling this late in the 4th round is a dream scenario for the Eagles. He's played over 900 snaps the last 2 years. That's insane. Pass block grade is a 90. He only gave up 2 sacks in his entire collegiate career. He's a really, really good player. And he's played left tackle, left guard, and right tackle for Kansas State. He can play all over the offensive line. He can fill in anywhere. He's got great size, 6'4", 335. He's more of an interior offensive lineman for me. But with Jeff Statland, this guy could be a potential starter for sure. He's going to the Birds. That wraps our NFC East only mock draft. Everyone, Jaden Daniels goes to LSU at number 2. The Giants go Marvin Harrison Jr. The Birds, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and the Dallas Cowboys get Amarius Mims in the first round. For Eagles fans, the board didn't fall particularly awesome, but we did the best we could. We got Kool-Aid McKinstry. We need some cornerbacks in that room with Bradbury and Slay getting older and Bradbury being absolute trash. But I love doing these mock drafts for you guys. Leave me some comments below. Do you like my picks for the NFC East teams? If not, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys, as always, tuning in. We'll catch up with you soon. Peace.